Hello, hello. Welcome, Mo Ali. Thank you for the raid. How are you doing today? Sorry, I was still getting ready. I was upstairs grabbing my drink of the morning, and I realized I forgot to tell everybody on Discord that I'm live. How was your stream? All right, I think I got all this stuff set up. Mic is going out good. I think we're good. I just for some reason my audio is weird. Oh, because it's trying to go to my monitor. That's why. That's okay. Let's try that. That's much better. Okay. Let's go find. I think we're in the middle. Well, I think we did the beginning of the tutorial, and I don't know if we've finished writing that yet. Right, SQLx. Okay, so we've got all this stuff. Describe what SQLx is. Connect to a Postgres database. We do that. Okay, so file. Follow the quick start guide. Um, I don't actually know if we need a uh, something a bit more complex. I think that would be it for this one. So the conclusion essentially would be at this point, we've let's see. Now have a connection to the Postgres database from SQLx. The SQL command we ran doesn't get any data stored in a database, but nonetheless wouldn't work unless we had a connection established. Okay. Let's review this really quickly, and then we can do a video. Connect to a Postgres database with SQLx. SQLx is a popular query builder library that allows us to write Rust, which translates to SQL code. That's not true. So it's a popular query builder library that allows us to write SQL code, which Rust will validate will validate at compile time, but then run at runtime. Okay. Objectives. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to describe what SQLx is, connect to a Postgres database with SQLx. Content. What is SQLx? SQLx is a query builder library that allows us to write. That's like the same as up here. I don't think we need that. SQLx is a query builder library that allows us to write SQL statements and have the compiler validate the SQL at compile time. This is different from most query builder libraries, which allow you to write code in the language the library is written in. For example, Rust, JavaScript, Go, etc. And then converting it to SQL to be executed at runtime. Read the following sections of the SQLx README to learn what this means and how it works. Okay, so we have SQLx is not an ORM and querying. Connecting to a Postgres database. For this example, I'm running a Postgres database in Docker locally with the following command. Docker run, name, Postgres dev. We set a password and we set what the test is. We set the database that's going to be created. The password and the database are going to be the same as the quick start guide. So we're matching that. Daemon mode, we expose the ports and we use Postgres 16. I wonder if that's the latest one. Well, that should be fine. Let's create a new Rust project for the connection. Okay, so new SQLx tutorial, and let's install the crates that we'll need. So cargo add Tokyo, we bring in the macros and RT multi-thread, cargo add SQLx, Postgres, and then runtime Tokyo Rust LS. Finally, follow the quick start guide to connect to the database that we created and run the simple SQL query. Note that the runtime we're using is Tokyo. We'll need to use the Tokyo main directive for the main function instead of the async standard main that the documentation is using. Conclusion. We now have a connection to the Postgres database from SQLx. The SQL command we ran doesn't get any data stored in the database, but nonetheless wouldn't work unless we had a connection established. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good with this, which means we can do a video. So let's figure out where we want to go with this. Let's do cargo temp. I don't need to do anything special with this, so we're just going to do a cargo temp and open up VS Code here. All right, so if I run, let's see, okay, so cargo temp, I want to run, let's see what we have in Docker PS. Okay, so nothing's running here. Let's Docker. Dev Spas with the raid. Welcome 13 Red Raiders. How are you doing, Dev Spas? And how was the raid? You got to run off. Have a great stream. Well, thank you, Dev Spas, for all the raiders coming in. How was the stream? Is it still preparing for the big update? I think that's what I've been seeing the previous streams have been about. And how's it going? How are your days going? Stephen, hello. How are you doing today? We are currently working on a Axum course in Rust. So it's going to be this specific lesson that we're working on is connecting to a Postgres database using a library called SQLx, which is it's like the middle popularity one according to Google, but it's the top popularity one according to YouTube. So it's a little bit interesting. And SQLx is a library that's actually mirrored. There's quite a few versions of them for different languages. So obviously we're using the Rust one. What did I call this? I called it Postgres, right? Ooh. Well, I don't have any tab autocomplete for this. Uh, okay, so here's the Postgres. Postgres-dev. Okay, so we're gonna remove that one. Hey, Zilby, welcome. Wanna come and say hi? Zilby's our stream kitty. He's been with us for a few years now. Xanax, hello. How you doing today? B Porter, hello. Good morning. You want to come over here, Zilby? Let's give you a new title. All right, cat camp, sort of. You're doing good, Xanax. Excellent. That's good to hear. All right, so we removed the Docker. So I want to do a Docker run. And okay, that's going to be our Postgres dev. We're going to do all that stuff. Our DB is that SQLx tutorial, so I'm going to have to remember that. I guess if I leave this up, it should just work. And then keyboard cat. Okay, excellent. Okay, so we should be good to go there. And then we'll install, we don't have anything installed right now. So we need the Tokyo stuff. We need the Postgres and the runner, which have that up here. These. So we need Postgres and the Tokyo runtime. And then after that, basically we follow the quick start guide. So we'll go find that. Okay, so you have a quick start guide in here somewhere, right? Yeah, quick start down here. So I'll probably start at the top and then we'll go down to the quick start. Yeah, it doesn't have a link to the quick start itself. It has link to usage. Oh, and usage takes you right to quick start. Perfect. Okay, so that would be good there. Let's see. Then after that, then we'll be connected. We could run any SQL query whatsoever. Which in that case, they're running just a simple query, which should just a select of like a static thing, which will then print out that static thing, and then I'll probably update it to have like a debug line or something to print it to the console instead of just assert that it's okay. All right, so I think we're ready to go. Move you over there. You're the only two things up. That's good. All right, let's turn on our recording video timer. In recording, have this macro recording with the message. So basically, you can put in a Twitch chat. I have it up on my other monitor, and I'll have it up during the recording, but I won't be directly responding to it. I'll see if I can like work any questions or comments in to the recording. This one I don't think will be very long. I think it'll be like 5-10 minutes or so. And then otherwise I'll answer anything afterwards. And we're gonna go ahead and turn off. Let's see. Twitch alerts. Let's turn off cat cam. I can be on there. Turn off you and you. Okay, so just the basics. All right. Then in that case, let's do this. In this lesson, we're going to connect to a Postgres database using SQLx, a popular Rust library for, well, connecting to databases. We can run migrations and seeds with them, and we can also run our queries with them at runtime. SQLx specifically will take our queries, they'll let us write them in SQL, and then, well, they'll validate that they're correct, but then execute them at runtime. Let's go ahead and get our database set up so we can actually connect to something. So I don't have one running on my system right now, but I do have Docker. So I'm going to get one set up. We're going to do, I actually have one previously in my terminal here. So we're going to do Docker run, set the name. So name Postgres dev. That's a little bit below me. Duck down. Actually, I could just raise this up. Docker name, Postgres dev, set an environment variable, Postgres password. I use keyboard cat for this a lot. And then another environment variable for Postgres database. This sets what the database is. Otherwise, it would be Postgres, which is not a problem. Put into daemon mode so it runs behind the scenes and doesn't take over the terminal. Expose the port. This is really important. If you don't do it, the database runs, but you can't connect to it. And then finally, well, the name of the image itself, which is in that case Postgres, and then we're just using version 16. But whatever version you want to run, then we can put that after the colon here. There's probably a tag for it. So let's go ahead and get that going. I already previously downloaded all of the containers, so that just, it's super fast. All right. Of course, we can't really verify that until we have everything set up. So let's go ahead and install our prerequisites for running SQLx. We're going to need Tokyo because it's an asynchronous runtime. So we'll do a cargo add Tokyo. And then we'll bring in the feature macros and the feature RT multi-thread. Okay. We don't really need anything else with that. And then we also need, SQLx itself. So we're going to do a cargo add SQLx. And then here we need the feature Postgres and then the feature runtime Tokyo Rust ls. This is basically telling it, hey, we're using Tokyo for our async runtime. And then also we're connecting to a Postgres database. SQLx does support many different databases. So it's very possible for us to use something like MySQL or SQLite or something like that. And that would just work. And actually we can see the connectors, the possible connectors here. So SQLite, we have MySQL. Is that it? I think it's MySQL, SQLite, and Postgres, which we've added in here. All right, perfect. So once these are set up, and I have a basic just Hello World Rust application, not even Axum, uh, we want to go and just follow the instructions at the quick start guide. So if I open up a browser, I'm already over here to the SQLx page. So this is the under Launch Badge, SQLx. If we scroll down, we go to usage, we see a quick start guide. So this will get us set up. And for this lesson, all we're doing is the connections to it. Other lessons will be for like actually, sending data to and from. All right. So first things we need to do, well, we need to make sure that our main is an async. Now they do have here async standard. We're using Tokyo. They do suggest, okay, we need Tokyo main then for this. Okay, so let's go and update that. So right above here, we're going to use Tokyo main and make that function main. The second thing I notice, they have this returning a result. I don't like to return results from the main function. It's usually fine for like testing functions or really small things. But in real world apps, I usually prefer to handle the errors and then not like hard crash unless I choose to. So instead of returning a result here, we're going to handle the errors. All right, so first of all, we need to create a connection pool. And it looks like they're using a Postgres. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we're using. So it's going to be this PG pool options new. Okay, so we're going to start with that. Let our pool equals PG pool options new. Okay. We can tell it how many connections we want. Okay, let's add that in. So we want max connections. We'll just do the same one they have, so 5. If you know your database or you have like a database admin, you can ask them how many connections you can have. Each database setup will be slightly different, and it's actually configured in the database itself. And then we're going to do this connect, and we give it the connection string. So normally we'd want to use some kind of environment variable to read what this is. For right now, for just this test, we're going to go ahead and let's connect in here, and then we'll throw in like a .env or something. We just want to make sure it's working, right? So we'll do a connect and then the URL. So this is going to be Postgres // well, it is running on localhost, but before we get to that, we have to put in the username and password. So the username is Postgres, and that password, if we remember, is keyboard cat at localhost port 5432, and then a slash, and then the name of the database, which I believe we put as SQLx tutorial. We'll get an error if it can't connect for any of these reasons. And then, okay, we have to await. And then it's a question mark. So let's go ahead and match this to handle this error here. So match this. So if you're okay, we're going to get a pool, and I just want to return the pool. But if we're an error, we're going to get an error, and I want to, at this point, probably just like debug out what this error is, and then probably want to crash. So let's do 2 things. We'll debug the error. Let's actually do this as error. We have an error when connecting to the database. And we'll pass in the error here. And then I'll just go ahead and panic and crash here. A panic on its own will give us a 101 return error. So I don't really need a message or anything for that. Okay, perfect. Semicolon U, and nope, not U, semicolon U. And now we have our pool. Now, how to use this pool? Well, it looks like we can use SQLx query as, and then we're going to just write a SQL query directly. And if we take a look at this, this is select $1. And so if I do like a select with anything, it's going to return just that thing printed out as if it had come from a database. But in reality, this is not coming from a database. And then we're going to bind in this case, a literal to come into this $1, but this could be a variable coming from our user. So that's something to consider. And then we can fetch 1, so get this one thing. We hand it the pool, and then we wait. Okay, so we're going to get this row, and we can tell it what types we're going to get out of here too. Let's sort of play around with this and see what we can get away with type-wise, because I'm curious about this this type right here. So let's do did I lose the main? I don't see a closing bracket there. Oh, there it is. Okay. I was just hiding it apparently. All right, so let's get a row equals to. They do have a question mark here, so we are going to match this as well. So we're going to match. And so it's coming directly from SQLx. So SQLx query as. So SQLx query as. We write a string or a stir. That's going to be a SQL statement. So it's going to be a select. And then we can just do $1, which is going to be the first thing that we pass in. And then we can do that bind. And then it's going to be a value. So I think they did something like 150. I64. It doesn't really matter what that is. Okay, so we bound it, and then finally we can do our fetch 1. So fetch. We have the choice of fetch all, fetch 1. Okay, so we'll do fetch 1, and then our executor is going to be a reference to the pool. We'll await, and then we'll have okay. This will be the results. We'll pass those along, and we'll have an error. Again, we'll debug the error. So we'll say error running query. Pass in that error to display, and then we'll panic again. Okay. Now it doesn't know what type this is, so it looks to me like we're going to have to set what the type is here. Now I could potentially put you here and say like, hey, you're going to be a tuple with an I64. That's interesting. That made it unhappy there. What are you unhappy about? The trait bound is not satisfied. Oh, right. So it needs to know, it does need to know what this is. So we need to actually set what type we're expecting back is. So that's a tuple of an I64, like that. And suddenly now all the errors go away. It recognizes what you are. Now at the very bottom here, it has an assert to show like, okay, row 0 is equal to this 150. Let's just go ahead and debug this out. So I'm going to debug result of the query, and we'll pass it in row. And we don't need to return anything because we don't have that result on the main function. Okay, so if we save that, let's open up U and run U. So we're going to do a cargo run, and let's see, let everything compile. And it just works. Okay, so we have result of the query and row, and it's that tuple type 150. So we could imagine that if we had multiple things coming back, it would either be like maybe a vector of tuples, We'd have to sort of play around with that. But this is really about the connection between SQLx, your application, and Postgres. And we have done that. We have successfully connected to our Postgres database and verified it with a simple query. This query, even though it doesn't require any data in the database itself, wouldn't work unless there was a connection. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully this is helpful. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. All right. Hello. Sorry for not responding, Rebel. Am I hesitant to use Docker Compose? No, I use Docker Compose all the time. For specifically this thing, I just need a database, and I don't want to complicate it by like having a big like a Docker Compose just to launch a database and nothing else. I sort of feel that Docker Compose is much better when I have like 2 or more services that are interacting together that I want to run. So that's why just a Docker run here. Xenix, this looks good. You'll watch it later. Well, thank you, Xenix. And I can turn off our timer. And we can turn on, this will be still here. We can turn on all these things. All right, perfect. How do you keep it as a code in a single service scenario? What do you mean, like the Postgres database? How do I keep it as a code? I guess like in this case, I just want a database running, so that's all I'm really doing. This, I guess I don't know if I fully understand the question. Oh, the Docker launch with all the args. So for me, I'm using ZSH, specifically OMI ZSH, and so if I just do like Docker run and up arrow, it just has all of this here. Otherwise, I could just recreate like this specific thing pretty easily. There's not like too much here to do. It is true. Like if it needed to be really really complex, I probably would create some kind of Docker Compose for it, but this allows me to just run it wherever I want. I could save this as a shell script, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, this would be good as a shell script too. I could put this in a shell script, put this into like a, I don't know, a bin folder or some place, and then have a command or an alias in my .zshrc file that allows me to just start up a Postgres database. Of course, once this is up and running, as long as I remember this name, we can have a, let's switch out to a real everything. A real everything. We want a real terminal. Thank you. So if I have something like Docker PS here, okay, so we can see Postgres is running. At the end of the day, if I reboot or if I turn this off, I could just Docker stop Postgres dev. So if I remember the name, or I could always just do Docker ps-a, see like, okay, here's a Postgres 16. I have a couple that are running from Docker Compose files. Anytime you see like the really long names, those are probably Compose created. So I could just at this point just do Docker start Postgres dev, and it just starts it back up again. So I don't know if I really need like to shell script that. It's like super simple. Let's say after some time you'd want to return it to it in a repository. It'd be good to store it somehow. Docker Compose simplifies the storage, all these settings in that regard. Yeah, I guess like in this case, this specific Postgres isn't customized for that repo, plus I'm not keeping it. Like I'm using it as a cargo temp, so I'm destroying it as soon as I close this this directory. So I guess like in some ways I don't need it, if that makes sense. And then, but yes, if I did require it for like a project, probably would use Docker Compose for that. Docker Compose is great. I love it. Although it is a love-hate relationship. It's like it feels harder than it should be. But okay, let's see. We have U. I can X out of U. That will destroy that project, I believe. So we're good to go here. And then you're good to go. So we're going to move SQLx to, we did recording, so uploading. All right, what do we have here? We have, let's go into planning. So I have CRM, inserts, migrations, and seeds. That's probably, oh, I probably want SQLx. Okay, so we have SQLx CRUD. That'll be like inserting, retrieving, updating, and deleting from the database. That feels like that might be the next best one to do. And then migrations and seeds for automating essentially that at the beginning of a project. So let's do SQLx CRUD next. So we're going to do 2. Oh. 2 writing. Okay. Title. All right. So Sylvie, how nice of you to face the camera this time. Okay, so this is gonna be I don't know if I want to use like CRUD operations because I have noticed that not everybody knows what CRUD means. So like handling data in with SQLx, like data in SQLx. Should I just do CRUD? CRUD with SQLx and Postgres. Okay. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to insert data into a Postgres into a database with, I guess it's going to be a Postgres database. Postgres database with insert data into a Postgres database with SQLx. Ooh, you know what we can do for that short description here? We can say CRUD stan is a common acronym, common for create, read, update, no, that one, and delete. CRUD is a common acronym for create, read, update, and delete. In this lesson, we'll be doing those actions or learning how to do those actions in a Postgres database with SQLx. Okay, so by the end of this lesson, you will be able to insert data into a Postgres database with SQLx. This will be, I guess, read one. So get one row of data from a Postgres database with SQLx. Get all rows of data from a Postgres database with SQLx. I should be consistent with Postgres. Okay. Update a row. I guess like this would be update a, yeah, it'd be update a row. Update a row of data in a Postgres database with SQLx. And then finally, delete a row of data in a Postgres database. Okay. Let's update the, okay, so content. So I guess could do prerequisites maybe. Requisites. Before taking this lesson, it would you need to know how to connect to a Postgres. I guess like connect to a Postgres database in SQLx, because we've already done that before. You need to know how to start a, like have a database. So have a Postgres database to connect to. So you need both those things. Okay, so content. Because we have those prerequisites, we can now start a little bit farther in. So we're gonna start with, actually content is like this. What is this? Oh, I guess if I do, all right, beginning of the actual article itself. We'll do like, I guess, inserting into the database. So SQLx is SQLx allows us to run SQL directly. SQL directly, which will be validated by the at runtime. No, at compile time. That being said, I am curious. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to go here. Let's do cargo temp, and then I want, that brings that template up. I want those things. So cargo temp. I want SQLx SQLx. Is it something like Postgres like that? I don't remember anymore. SQLx. Guess we'll find out. RT. Multi-thread. Oh, okay. Um, library name the. Okay, so I don't care about the name. It's then dependencies. I was hoping I could figure out how to. Oh, I wonder if I could do the dash dash. I don't think it did that. Oh, look what it did. That's not what I wanted. Okay, let's get rid of those. I'm surprised that that worked and didn't just crash. All right, we'll do cargo add. We'll add SQLx and then Tokyo. Okay, so for main, I guess like in this one, probably should show off doing it right with uh, should I show with .env, .mv, not env, envy. Might as well do it right. And then there's the .env macros, isn't there? .env macro. Okay. Okay. So I could create new. We are going to write this to in here .env, and we're going to throw in database URI is Postgres / Postgres word cat at localhost 5432 / SQLx tutorial. I think that's what I named it. Okay, then in main, I want to .env reads yeah, so loads the thing. What do you suggest? Just question mark. Great. That's not what I want. I mean, like, I mean, I could do an unwrap. It, like in this case, I think an unwrap is okay because if it doesn't find the, I guess I could do an expect. Expect could not find .env, could not find and or load .env file. Okay. Then let our database URI is going to be, what is it? .env database URI. And I like debug more. We're going to debug the database URI. Let's just make sure that that's working first. You're unhappy. Because I didn't semicolon you. Okay, did I save you? All right, let's cd into, where is this? This is dot cache. Okay, so we have cache. Cargo temp. We only have one, so that's perfect. So we can cargo run this. We could probably just cargo watch this. And there we go. Perfect. We have the URI printed out. Let's do a cargo watch. Excellent. Okay, that's what we want to see. So up here, now we can turn this into an async function. So, Tokyo main. All right, so you're happy here. We have our database URI. All right, so the next thing up, we want to create that pool. So that pool equals okay, so pool, what was it? It was PG options or something like that. PG pool options. New max connections will be 5. I think connect then is next with the URL, which is going to be that database URI. And then we could unwrap or expect or something like that. We can just do an expect. Oh, wait, no, it's an await. We await, and then we can expect. And that's going to be error connecting to database. All right. All right, finish running, exit status 0. Perfect. Next up, we can run a query. So that are, I guess, like rows. Now I want to see what happens. I want to like experiment a little bit. So let's first insert it. So we're gonna do a SQLx. Now I have the database set up. Oh, I think I need to create the table, don't I? Okay. Ooh, how do I want to do this? Let me break that in half here. And it's full screen view. So a cargo, we need a Docker. You're running, right? You are. It wouldn't have worked if it wasn't running. Okay, so Docker, we're going to exec into Postgres. We're going to PSQL Postgres. Okay, and then we can connect to SQLx tutorial. All right, we have no tables, I believe, at this point in time. I think, yeah, no relations. So let's let's create table. What do we want to do? What should we put in? We do games and other stuff a lot. We could do games. Create table games. Oh man, I need to remember how to do. It's been forever since I've done this by hand. It's like create table games, and then the types, right? Is it parentheses? And then I can have like ID sequence. Name is varchar 255. I don't know, platform varchar 255, something like that. Oh, not in not in Helix here. Okay, so if I do that, table type sequence does not exist. Oh, it's something else. What? I forget. I forget what it is. Postgres. Create table. It's a suggested search, and they have in here. There's a examples, and they have them in the examples. Create. Okay, so that's not helpful. I don't think that's right. Oh, is it serial? I think it's serial. Okay, so I think it's ID serial primary key. I think it's something like that. Create table. Okay. So now if we take a look at DT, we have you. If we look at, what is it? DS games. We can actually see, okay, we have our ID. That's an integer. Right. Next value. Okay, that's it. We have name and platform, and those are varchars. Okay, perfect. So back up to here. If I do SQLx for the type here, what do I want to do for this? I want oh right, it's not type. It's SQLx. There's a query, like a query from. Okay, there's query. Statically checked SQL query with print line style syntax. And then query as. Make a SQL query that is mapped to a concrete type using from row. A variant of query which takes a path to explicitly define struct as the output type. Okay. Wait, does this just figure out the types that I want? Okay, so then I want insert into games. Insert into games Does it actually know this is SQL? That feels it feels odd if it did. Insert into games. Um, oh, what was now? I forgot the insert syntax. Insert into games. It's like values. Oh no, it's the tables and values. So I want not the ID. I want the name and platform, and then we have values, and then it's just going to be the different values in them. Oh, I think I can do like multiple. Oh no, it's just this thing, and I can do multiple tuples. So if I just do one thing, the name would be something like, I don't know. I've been playing Starfield, so we'll do uh, Starfield and platform. I'll just say Steam. Okay, so do that. How do you like that? You hate it. Database URL must be set or cargo SQL. Oh, or then wait a second. Database URL must be set or cargo SQLx prepare must be run. Ooh. Oh, you need to be a string. Okay, unused query that must be used. Okay, so what does that mean? I have to use this. So let result equals to this, which becomes nothing. So like, what's the point? Okay. I'm not using that pool though. That's I have to wait. Do I have to like somehow tell it the pool? Oh, I forget. I thought it was like control. Oh, do I have to do this? Nope. I forget how to scroll inside of this window. I thought it was like control B or something, but it's not. That's just closing all the windows. Um, nope, stop. Back to you. Okay, so we do query. Oh, then we have to like fetch one, and then we can do an await. So there is another method I have to run at the end of this. Do you have to do like an insert or something? Do max clamp, compare, clone, extend. I wonder if there's a trait that I need to pull in. Xanax, hello. You were here before. Uh, what's up? All right. I need to go look at how to, because if it's an insert, execute maybe? Okay, like that. All right, didn't really get any type help with that, but all right. Now result, you don't show the type that I'm gonna get back, but let's go ahead and see what we do get. Let's do debug result. I mean, it would fine. I'll just do this. I forgot. I accidentally put quotes around it. Didn't mean to. Now we get a label. Okay, so you're technically happy. So if okay, so if we run you, results rows affected. Okay, so we get the PG query result. Rows affected is 1. Okay, well that's kind of what we want. If we come back into here and we do a table games, we can now see we have a whole bunch of them. Let's delete out of here. So let's delete from because every time, oh man, every time that I've been saving, it's been doing the insert. That's fun. Delete from games. I guess like star. So delete 5. So table games, we have nothing in there. I hit save. Rows affected 1. We now have that one. I am standing right now. I have my standing desk set up, so I am standing. Usually I've been sitting for most of the time. Okay, so we have that set up. That's good. Then what do I want to? Okay, so next up, let's do a query. So let's comment that out. We're gonna do a let results equals SQLx. Sure, let's do a query here. You also want to. So I got this when my day job was leaving the office, and we were going 100% remote. We had a whole bunch of just standing desks that were at the office, and they were going to be basically donated out if nobody took them home. So all of us got to take a standing desk home and just use it ourselves. So that's what I did. Now I have a standing desk that I didn't really have to pay for. It's not like it is electric. I have to hold the button down on it. It's not like one of those that like it kind of remembers. It's okay. It like has a really loose connection on it. It's definitely used. But it's certainly a lot better than nothing. And so I like it so far for that. I think the thing I'm most scared of is like it cable's pulling things away, and then Zilby is not happy if I run it while he's hanging out next to it. Okay, so query. Now, I want to see if I do a select. So if I select from games, this will be, let's do select from games. Okay, so that will select everything, right? But if I do like something like where, name is equal to $1. Now I think that I could do something like, what was the thing that allows me to, okay, bind. I can bind. Do I have coworkers which are also watching the stream? I know that my boss has every once in a while watched and joined in just to watch. But I generally stream too early for most of them. Most of them don't want to like be social or hang out. So like it's possible. I also have ex-coworkers that have joined streams before. So again, like very possible. I want to bind, okay, so let's bind Starfield. I can't put a capital S on it. So bind Starfield. And then, so we'll go ahead, get one. Okay, so we get fetch. So fetch will give us all of them, and I think that'll be an iterator. So we'll then fetch, give it a reference to the pool. Now, what are you expected? One parameter's got 0. Oh, so it's not bind on this. It's bind in here. So it's like this. Okay, got it. Result, you're unhappy. Oh, right, because I need to await. So we await and we'll unwrap. It's not a feature. Okay. No, wait, but it is a feature. I'm confused. So fetch. What are you? Why won't you tell me what you are? Yeah, so fetch connection. Oh, it wants a mutable reference to the connection. Oh, interesting. Okay. Let's make you mutable. Okay, so a mutable reference to that. The trait bound is not satisfied. Oh, so it doesn't want mutable. That documentation is wrong. Okay, so you're happy with this, but you're unhappy because Dynamic Futures core stream marker doesn't implement debug. Okay, so futures. So that would be an await. So I should be able to await here. But this await is saying, wait, is it like an unwrap here? How could it be like a result and then a future? That doesn't make any sense. So why? It's not a future. I'm so confused about this. Do I not want to use the the macro for this? Okay, in SQLx, a stir is treated as an unprepared query, and a query or query as struct is treated as a prepared query. So This is, so con execute begin await. That's a unprepared simple query, prepared cached query. So they're both stirs, but the difference here is that we're using this SQLx query to build the query first. We should prefer to use the high-level query interface whenever possible. To make this easier, there are finalizers on the type to avoid the need to wrap with an executor. Right, with that dot execute. Which is interesting. This takes in a mutable connection or a pool. Okay, that's what it is. I missed that. The execute query finalizer returns the number of affected rows, if any, and drops all received inputs. In addition, there are fetch one, fetch optional query. So do I want to use query? They don't talk about. We can use the macro SQLx query to achieve compile time syntactic and semantic verification of the SQL with an output to an anonymous record type where each SQL column is a Rust field using raw identifiers where needed. Okay, so they have fetch. Oh, is it? It's not fetch. It's not fetch. It's like fetch one or fetch all. So if I do fetch all, then I think I could do await unwrap. That's what it was. Okay. And then result doesn't implement debug. Oh, so I can't do this with it. So do you know what you are? You don't know what you are at this point in time. Are better girls or guys in programming? What are you trying to ask? Like if women or men like have differences in their like potential skills in programming? Because no, they don't. There's no like difference in that. Women and men can be equally competent in programming. Result. Do select from. Okay, so I have that. Now I think I can like do a for. So this would be results, right? Stop. Results. So for result in results, can I now debug result? Doesn't implement debug. Okay. So it's a PG row. We're trying to create like a more like safe space, that kind of thing. So we don't want too much trolling that. So we're at the edge. For result in results. I want to do something with this result. You have trouble telling me what you are. Now it's this PG result type with that query. So you're going to give me. Oh, so I can do country 0 dot country. Okay, so can I do some like country dot name? No field. So maybe it's not that. Maybe it would be results 0 dot name. No field name. There is a name and platform. I don't know if I would say times are changing. in that case. Like uh like if you're comparing competencies, or if you want to do something like times change to like base in what is like more available teaching wise, but like hasn't changed our abilities to learn and to get better and improve. That's always been with us. Okay, how about this? Let me debug this. I know I could. It would help. Also, hello Kukma. How are you doing today? We could just do the query. If I do you, oh, then you don't take the star field. We bind in here, I believe. So bind star field like that. That fetches all. Okay, so now you know what you are. So I can do for result in results. Result dot. Okay, can you give me something? These are all snippets. I have two. I have intos, but that doesn't really help. In the docs. Okay, so well, this was showing me I should be able to do like. Oh, for the query one, it has to be done all like everything, including the input and everything else at compile time. Okay, now here is just a query that doesn't tell me much. There's a syntax like result.try get column. Let some rows equals rows, try next. Oh, wait. Wait, isn't. Why is that asynchronous? The row contains an immutable borrow and a connection. Only one row may exist at a time. The fetch query finalizes or returns a stream-like type that iterates the rows in the result sets. Is it actually going to the database every time I get a new row? I want to try this next. So I have, okay, I did query with the bind. I did the fetch. Yeah, I did fetch all. Ooh, that might be a difference between fetch and fetch all. I did fetch all for this one. So I did fetch all. So that gives me a vec of a PG row. Now that gives me a PG row, but I can't actually like look at it because it doesn't implement doesn't implement anything. But do I have to like result.get? Ooh, wait. Index in the database row and decode a single value. Okay. Get index though. Get so that I don't know. Game. But takes one argument. So this would be like give me the first one, right? Type annotations needed. So would this be like a tuple of string? impl try from for your type. Well, I don't have a type. I guess I need to set like what the type I'm expecting out is. All right, don't I? It's like we have a struct game that's gonna have an ID of like an I64. We're gonna have a name, which is a string, and a platform, which is a string. Okay, so then you're gonna be a game. So you're not happy here. Impl try from for your type with multiple try get. Interesting. Oh, because it's a PG row. I could also do the query as, which lets me like tell it exactly what I'm going to get back. So if I switch this to query as, I think that I can change this to a vec of game. From row, PG row is not satisfied. I would need to implement try. Okay, this is where I have to do the try from, right? I was really hoping that uh, their like quick start should actually show this. Why doesn't their documentation show like that? Am I missing it? So this is rows, but again, it's like not. It's not like showing me anything. Wolferstad, hello. Oh, I could map this into here into the type. That's also an interesting thing. So I guess let's just go through each of these and figure it out one by one. So let's we were able to do an insert. That was fine. On the bus home, a kid went and stood right in front of you and started using the hand railing to try and do pull-ups. He couldn't do one, and that made it funnier. That that is kind of funny that like they would choose a very public moment to try to do one when like they don't have the knowledge of whether or not they could do it. I never I've always lived like in a place I usually like walked or rode my bike to school, so I never took the bus. So I didn't get any of like the funny like bus stories as a kid. Ever heard of an Australian pull-up? No, I haven't. He decided to put his feet against the wall and do those instead. Okay, hold on. Australian pull-up. Oh, so it's like this on the side. Interesting. Okay. So you're more like tilted back. So it's not like a straight up and down, but like a tilted. Okay. I mean, that's certainly an interesting way to pass the time in a bus ride. You know, people, especially kids, have uh, you get something in your mind. You're like, I'm just gonna do this. It's gonna be so cool because like you have this idea in your mind. All right, this is gonna be so amazing. It's gonna be so cool. Everybody's going to like Everybody's gonna like applaud after I do this, and then reality hits, and yeah. You say kid, but he was probably like 15 or something. Hey, our brains are still developing until like our mid 20s, so it's I think kid for like anything under 18 is probably okay. All right, so let's try this one next. So we have our query. Let's full screen this. So let's back to query. I want to let's not bind the type. Okay, so we bind starfield, we fetch all. Now you're doing a fetch, so let's do it exactly there too. So we fetch. Now fetch doesn't have an await or unwrap, does it? It just has a pin box thing. And so now I can do try next. Okay, so I can do while let. So we can do while let. So it's gonna be an option. So sum row equals results dot. What is it? Try next. Try next, and then we can await and unwrap. Can I now debug row? No method try next found. So rows is that. That was your day. How's mine? Well, my day is still just beginning. Oh, it's after 8:30. I'm gonna have to jump off pretty soon. This has been pretty sort of like fun to dive into SQLx. The original choice was gonna be CORM, but SQLx is more popular, so we're gonna learn this really fast and then do our lessons on that. But getting it working is the first step. So um that's interesting. This documentation isn't working, or I'm not actually doing exactly the way they're doing it. They have a connection coming in, as opposed to a pool, but it seems to work just fine. So that's interesting. So there's no try next on this, but there is a try next on here. So use futures try. Oh, I need this provides try next. So I need this. There's no code actions on that. I don't have futures. I need to add it. That's what my problem is. You haven't done much programming lately. So hard to find something you want to do. Yeah, I get it. It's like it can be rough. PG row doesn't implement debug. Okay. Can I see what row is? I can get like row index into the database row and decode a single value. So I want get like 0. So I want debug that. Get this. Type annotations needed. So this will be like what, an I64? Because it's the ID. It's I64 string. Am I supposed to supply two generic arguments? Oh, maybe like that. And that's going to say, hey, you're the trait bound string is not satisfied. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, it can be rough to find something we want to do. Like I totally get that. To me, the easiest way to sort of like discover what we want to do is probably to focus on um, problems that you're running into. So something I used to tell students is like take a piece of paper, take a little notebook, have like your notes app on your phone, and then everywhere, like try to be aware everywhere around you that you run into like something that's like even the tiniest bit frustrating. Write it down, because that's possibly something that you might get into to like want to do is like fix that. It's like, oh, well, this sucks. Can I make it a little bit better? Like with a program, with a project, with something. And then maybe you'll discover something that you really want to do that way. I don't know. That's the best way I have to suggest to like find something to work on. It might not end up being a programming project. It could end up being like a physical project. Okay, I really wanted to get this before I ended the stream today, but it's not looking great. So I get the row, map the row into user defined type. So, okay, then I can do try get and then email. Oh, okay, so that's what I have to do. So this is, then I can do let, let's do like ID is, I have to tell it what it is. ID is an I64 equals, and it's going to be the row. So row, try get, and then ID. And then that is unwrap. Now I can debug the ID. Maybe you're unhappy. Cannot borrow results as mutable. It is not declared as mutable. Oh, results need to be mutable. Okay. Okay. That's looking better. So that's cargo watch again. No, not cargo add. Cargo watch. And we should see 6. Column not found. ID. Column is right there. Oh, okay. So try get ID on that. Where name equals. Okay, so what if I remove this? What if we just do like here? Give me all. Select from games. Remove the bind. Just give me all games. Column not found ID. Okay, so that's my next problem. Did I select star? Oh, I forgot to select star, didn't I? Select from. Oh my gosh. Select star from games. That's probably what it was. Mismatch types. Rust type I64 as SQL type int8 is not compatible with SQL type int4. Oh, okay. So you're a different type. You're a I32. You're not an I32. So you're an int of some kind. Let's see. We have I64. It's int4 apparently. So let's see, I32, I16. We're just going to go through all the types really quickly. I8. Is it like a U64? Ooh, this isn't working very well. What are I8 is the smallest, right? I guess there's an I126 or 256 or something like that. That doesn't seem right. As SQL type int 8 is not compatible with SQL type int 4. Like, I can't imagine this is like an I4. I don't think that doesn't exist. There's an I64 is the closest one. So wait, I'm changing the wrong type. I'm not even using that. This one. Let's change this to be stop. I32. Okay, right. There we go. Okay, so it was an I32. I just need to change the one that's actually being used. And so then I can do let name. There's a compatibility table in the SQLx docs. Okay, nice. Well, I'll have to go like find that. It's name. This will be a string equals row dot try get. This will be name. We'll unwrap you, and then let the last one is going to be platform string row dot try get form. We'll unwrap you. Okay, so we have you in there, and then I should be able to debug ID, name, and platform. Okay. And there we go. Okay, we have successfully extracted something from the database using query. All right. We're gonna tonight we're gonna continue looking at like doing different queries and playing around with it. I want to be able to get the all the different type of queries running. I want to get like better. We could go through some of the docs. We should find that compatibility table. And then I might want to re-record / like add a little bit to the other lesson for like a .env. Not sure about that. And we'll sort of like go from there. So anyways, with that all being said and done, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream today. I have 15 minutes until my I have 12 minutes until my stand up with my day job. So we're going to do an emergency stream shutdown. I haven't done one of these in a while. So I can go prepare and get ready for that. So anyways, everybody have a great rest of your day. I will be streaming tonight at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, which is in like 9 hours from now or so. So anyways, like a heads up. Hopefully I don't wake too many of you up. So if you do have like your phone near you when you're sleeping, I'm sorry about that. Hopefully maybe you can like turn it off tonight, because I can't tell Twitch not to do notifications apparently. So sorry about that. With that, have a good night, and I will see you next time. Bye.